Hello and welcome to the second Fitter Food Lover video podcast. So in this one, I'm hoping with this one that I am going to embody the thing that I'm going to talk about. Okay, so there's no editing, there's no kind of clipping or anything like that. You're going to get a lot of pauses, ahs, and I apologize for that. And I'm hoping that actually this is me working on something that I need to work on as well, in the same way that I think this is something that a lot of people need to work on. So without further ado, I'm going to get into it. So the key thing I'm sort of talking about here is one of the barriers to a lot of people achieving success in their fitness, health and fat loss journeys, but not just that, in a lot of areas. And that thing is wanting everything to be perfect before they start, or wanting everything to be perfect as they go through. And if things aren't perfect, if things don't go the way that they expect, then they will give up. And that's one of the things that I'm going to do with this video. So again, I apologize if this seems a little bit waffly, if I seem to go off on tangents and things like that. But what I am trying to do is just sort of embody what I'm trying to say within this video by just doing something, taking action, putting it out there as it is, and then hoping that, well, not hoping, but just accepting that that is good enough. And that's the point that I'm trying to make. You know, when we start a fat loss journey, so let's say people want to go on a diet, or, you know, somebody wants to lose weight, there is always that excuse of, well, I'm not going to start this week because I've got this event going on, or I'm not going to start this week because the kids are on holiday, or I'm not going to start this week because it's my birthday, or, you know, we're going on holiday. Whatever, there's something that stops you, and then you go, well, I'm going to start on this day because I've got a 4-day clear run, or a 4-week clear run where I can make a difference. The problem is that's never the case. Things always crop up. There will always be those things that stop you from having that stop you from having that perfect day, and things that will make those weeks less than perfect. And if we're constantly waiting for that time, then things aren't going to happen. You know, we get what you call perfect inaction. So waiting for that perfect moment, you don't take action. If you don't take action, you don't see results. You don't get fat loss if that's your goal. You don't build muscle if that's your goal. You know, I can't go to the gym this week because of X, Y, and Z. Not going to the gym means that your fitness levels are not going to improve, or you're not going to build muscle. I can't go on a run this week because of X, Y, Z. You know, there's always those things that, and I'm not saying that people aren't busy. There are, you know, our lives are busy. We have lots and lots of things going on. We have kids to get to school. We have jobs to do. We have stuff to do on the house. There are always lots of things that will keep us busy. But, you know, anybody who says that I'm really, really short on time, two things. One, check your screen time on your phone. And two, rethink your priorities. Okay? And I'm not saying that you're not prioritizing things correctly. Sometimes maybe you're not, but you need to rethink your priorities. Where are you on your list of priorities? And that's the thing that you've got to think about. Yeah? So don't wait for that perfect time. It's not going to happen. You have to take imperfect action. You have to do something. And it might not be that you do it every single day. You might not be able to manage to do those perfect actions every single day. That's fine. Because remember, it's what you do consistently over time that matters the most. So if you can do it 90% of the time, right, then you will see results. And to put this into context, let's think about it. So, you know, across the year, we have Christmas, Easter, if you celebrate Easter, birthdays, we have a holiday, okay, so that might be a week, but we've got 10 days there. There could be family birthdays, kids' birthdays, but if you total those days up, you maybe get 20, 30 days across the year where there are things going on, maybe 40 at a push, okay? if you look at the year as a whole, and that's 365 days, and you look at 30 to 40 days, we're talking about somewhere around 10%, maybe 15% of the year where those days are not going to be perfect, where you're not going to be able to take the actions that you want to do. But you've still got the other 85, 90% of the year where you can work on yourself, where you can work on those actions, where you can work on those habits, where you can go for workouts, where you can look at planning and prepping your meals, where you can look at eating more healthily, where you can look at working on going to bed and sleeping well. Yeah. So looking at it in that way, you start to get your head around the idea that actually we don't need to be perfect. We just need to be consistent. So how do we start? What do we do? Well, look at small changes, right? We don't necessarily need to go in wholehearted and have everything in place. Again, that's this idea of perfection. If you think you need to have everything in place before you start, you're never going to start, because there will always be things that you can do better. There will always be things that can be improved on. Just start. Just do something. Whether that's switching out some of the foods that you eat for lower calorie alternatives, so switching from bacon to bacon medallions, for example, or from full sugar Coca-Cola down to Diet Coke, or switching out from your full fat yogurt down to your fat-free yogurt. Whatever it is, simple small changes like that. Maybe look at increasing the veg portions that you have with your evening meal. Add an extra vegetable in there. Maybe switching out one of your snacks from packet of crisps to a piece of fruit. Something really simple and small. And you might think, well, what impact is that going to have? On its own, probably very little, but it doesn't matter, because you can make lots and lots of little small changes gradually over time and practice embedding them, and that adds up to making a big difference. Okay, so look at those simple, quick wins, simple, easy, quick wins. The next thing I want you to do is once you've started to do some of those and put some of those into place, you can then start focusing on one or two bigger things. So things like increasing your protein intake, that's a big one. We know that protein's important, and if you don't, then I'm going to do another one of these videos on why protein is important in your fat loss journey, your fitness journey, and your health journey, and how you could improve on that. But it could be that you just focus on one meal and make it high protein. So make sure that your breakfast is high protein. Just focus on that and get that embedded. Then you can move on. Again, it could just be that you are trying to increase your vegetables. So you increase the veg that you eat at your lunch and your dinner by just adding in a portion of veg. Okay, making sure that you consistently have vegetables with your your lunch and your dinner. You see, I'm not going to edit that out. This is what I'm talking about here. If you're trying to increase protein, again, it could be switching one of your snacks for a high protein snack. Whatever it is, you focus on one habit that you are trying to embed each day. Going to bed 15 minutes early, drinking a 2-litre bottle of water every day, and making sure that you do it. Don't underestimate the power of these small changes. Don't underestimate the power and the difference that they can make just by focusing on one small thing and then trying to embed that and then doing that again. It's this additive nature, right? We add things together. Give it time, because that's the other thing that people fail to do. They're impatient. We have an instant gratification society. The ability to get things at the touch of a button virtually instantly has made us intolerant to waiting for those results. So we need to make sure that we are giving these things time. Okay, 1% difference every day. If you are increasing or improving yourself by 1% every day, those daily changes are going to appear insignificant. You know, if you just look at yourself and how you change from one day to the next, you will see no change at all. You probably think, oh, it's not working, and you give up. And again, this is something that comes back to giving it time. But if you try and make those changes one day after the other for a period of time, say a year, then the changes are going to be massive. And to give you an example of that, to put it into context, grab your phone, type in the number 100, times that by 1.01. That is increasing that number of 100 by 1%, right? So times 100 by 1.01, you get 101. Now the difference between 100 and 101 is tiny. It's really, really small. Times that number, 101 by 1.01, we get 102 point something, right? Again, a very, very small increase. And if we keep timesing that number by 1.01, the increase is very slow to start. We get this very, very slow increase. And that's what happens with our improvements. We have slow improvements, a very steady, slow improvement over time. But at some point, that increase, that 1% increase suddenly becomes quite big. You know, you start getting to a number, say 1,000. 1% of 1,000 is 10. That's bigger than 1. Yeah? Then we get up to 10,000, which is 100, and then 100,000. So that's 1,000. And we start to see that 1% improvement is still only 1%, but because we are improving from a better place, the improvements start to look bigger. This is my point, right? Small change adds up over time to make big results. So just focus on those small changes, add to them, keep building, give it time, and you will see improvements. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait for everything to be lined up, ready for you to do it. Because if you do that, you're never going to do anything. Take action now, right now. Even if today, and this is, for example, the day that you're watching this video, even if today you are going out for a night out, you could still do something earlier on in the day. You could go for a walk. You could make sure that the meals you eat earlier on in the day are in line with your goals. Even if you go out and you go and have a nice meal or you go and have a few drinks, you could still make the meals earlier on in the day in line with your goals. When you go out, you could maybe have one less drink. Maybe only have 2 courses instead of 3 if you're having a meal, right? Maybe not go and get that kebab at the end of the night. Think about the small changes that you can make, even in imperfect times. Think about those small changes that you can make that will be in line with the goal that you want to achieve. Apply that same thing as well to your work, to all sorts of things, but don't wait for the perfect time. Waiting for the perfect time leads to you taking no action. Perfect inaction. Take action even if things aren't perfect. Okay? Because imperfect action will beat perfect inaction hands down every time. Hope that helps.